Hello, I'm Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz on August 9, 2016 at 8:30 p.m. Birmingham. And the topic, um, if you haven't heard, the ban on lifting the DNA crossing, including stem cells, that's about to get us in a world of trouble. But let me go back and tell you of one such person who was infected by DNA that made him a giant. And but anyway, you have David, and he's out in his field doing his sheep, herding, moving them from pasture to pasture, upper and lower, and just staying with them overnight. And David has nothing to do but sit and play his harp and sing praises to his God. This is what David does day in and day out, other than taking care of his sheep. Well, he also had to protect his sheep. A bear back in his day was a bear of the same size in our day. A lion in his day was the same as what we see today. And a wolf in his day. So David not only was a 5-foot tall sheep herder that wore a loincloth and carried a harp around, he also had a sling with him. And he grew pretty good at killing these animals that would come after his sheep. For years, all you saw was David, his harp, and he's out in the middle of a pasture singing hymns and praises to his God. But then David hears of the battle that's going on not far from his village in the other direction. So he heads over there. Here he is, still probably no shirt. He's got sandals and a loincloth and his sling. And he sees this battle raging, and at night they call a truce. They go back and eat and sleep and all that stuff. Then back in the day, then there's just picture a valley. And either side of the valley was the Jewish troops, and over here was the Philistines. Over here you had people in armor. As over here you had people in armor, including 5 which were giants. So here David is. He walks out late one evening, dressed the way he is, and starts taunting this big fella. He says, "Hey, y'all afraid of this uncircumcised Philistine over here?" And he's making Goliath mad. Goliath's about ready to whip his butt. So the king thought, well, David, and I believe it was Saul, was so crazy, bring him in here. At least let me put him some armor on before he gets killed. And David went inside, because he was summoned, and he said, "No, thank you." He said, "I can't fight for you in man-made armor." He said, I can do this on my own. And they thought he was crazy. But all along, he kept taunting this guy, until he finally picked a fight. So David walks out, and he reaches down by a stream, finds 5 polished round stones, and puts 4 of them in one hand and has one of them in his sling. He's still taunting the guy. Keep in mind, you got a 8 or 9 or 10 foot tall, maybe taller giant standing there with armor from head to tail. The armor probably weighed 5 times more than David. And every square inch of his body was covered except 1 square inch. And that's where the pieces came together of that armor right here. So the battle is on. So David puts a rock in there and starts slinging that thing around, and that giant pulls this 82-pound sword out and says, "You ready to get it on?" David popped that sling and hit the giant in that only spot that it could hit him, and it killed him. David walked over and beheaded that giant and drug it back to the Jews. And David had 4 more rocks. They asked him what that was for. He said, "Well, there's 4 more over there." So David did not fight a battle on man's condition and his planning and under his circumstances and under the way they planned battles. He fought it because he knew God was with him. You get a 5 foot tall, 140, 50-pound boy that can take down 800, 900-pound bear, and the same in a lion, then a 250-pound wolf, and not just one. Everything that came after him, he took them down. So what made him afraid of the Philistines? To him, they were just more of the same that he's been fighting for years on the side of the hills over there that no one was paying attention to. The point is, guys, we've got some bad news. And if you've not heard it, again, the okay, the thumbs up, has been given to practice, to experiment using human DNA in any animal that you choose. And before the day was over, they went ahead and included stem cells in with that. That was a game changer. We're going to have more than our guns when these things that's been created. I mean, look, these things are going to turn into Goliaths. Goliath, he was a product of Nephilim DNA. And when you cross DNAs, you better believe you're going to get DNA that you wish you hadn't gotten. And then we're in trouble. Needless to say, we're in trouble now because we have a bunch of socialists telling everybody who they can fight, how they can fight, what they can fight with, if they can fight them. And don't call them terrorists. Don't call them Islamic. Don't call them Muslim. Just call them the other people over there. Well, let me tell you what. The Bible clearly tells us what the book is, what the time's like in the book of Tribulation. Or Revelations, I'm sorry. It's bad. It's bad. And you know what? We don't win. The winners are the ones who knew Christ before the tribulation begins. They are the winners because we are gone. Those who are left, then you're going to lose your life either or. If you accept the mark of the beast and you think that will save you and add a long time to your life, don't count on it. If you don't accept the mark of the beast, they're going to behead you anyway. So why not only refuse the mark, accept Christ, lose your head because you'll never feel a thing, but those who stand here and fight will be slaughtered, all of them. And the few that were left, well, when Christ sets his foot on the ground on Mount of Olives in that day, it'll be over anyway. We have a new battle coming. It's not uncircumcised Philistines. It's a whole lot more than that. And it's something that there's only one way for you to escape from and get out of, and that is to have someone on your side that can defeat them, that can beat them, because Christ told his disciples, look, you don't need to go out there and fast 20 days in preparation of exercising something out of a man. He said, you have me in you. If you want it done, let's get it done. Just speak the word. So look at it like that. When you accept Christ, clearly, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. That says it all. Nothing can defeat you. Nothing can defeat you beyond that time. So everybody put on their David garment. Worship the Lord. He'll take you away from it. And then let the bad guys fight the bad guys. Jody Wolf Expoz.